of the stages, the passage to sovereignty. Transcending mental content, the sure result is beyond the range of the senses. Even non-existence is seen as existence, and variety too. The ignorant have wrong notions because of grasping. For variety is a delusion. When knowledge is without imagination, it is not accurate to say there's an object. The reason why mind is not forms is being free of imagination. The sense faculties, and their objects, illusory appearances, are like dreams. Agent, action, and procedure too are nowhere to be found. The meditations, the immeasurables, and the formless concentrations, the extinction of perception too, are not found at all in mind alone. The fruition of the stream enterer, and the fruition of once returner too. The fruition of non-returner, and even sainthood, is mental illusion. The naïve imagine the created to be empty and momentary. The meaning of momentariness is construed by examples such as a river or a lamp. But the momentary is inert, isolated, without activity. So I say the non-origination of phenomena is the meaning of momentary. The non-arising of existence and non-existence, in the tradition of the Samkhya and Vaisheshika, all are explained by them as indeterminate. Explanation is of four kinds: complete affirmation, questioning, necessary analysis, and what is to be avoided, refuting hallowed dogma. All is found in common convention, not in ultimate truth. The essencelessness of phenomena is seen in ultimate truth, in the essencelessness of non-apprehension. Hence the term convention. If a thing based on words has independent existence, a thing made of words is not found not to exist. There is no substance to a word, even in conventional usage, and due to the actuality of delusion, there is no apprehension. If delusion is there, essencelessness is not found. What is apprehended through the actuality of delusion must have no essence of its own. For that is not found to be there anyhow. What appears obvious is thought arbitrarily impressed. Grasping the appearance of form outside is confusion of mind. By thinking without contrivance, false imagination ceases. By thinking without contrivance, the truth of emptiness is seen. Like a phantom elephant, like leaves painted gold, so does the visible appear in the mind influenced by ignorance. One who is wise does not see confusion, or any truth in it. Confusion too would be truth, if there were truth in it. If a sign occurs after confusion is all cleared away, its not being cleared will also be confusion, like darkness. Just as one with dim eyesight misapprehends a visual distortion, so does the grasping of sense objects by the naïve begin. Contemplating the triple world is like a visual distortion, mistaking a mirage for water, like a dream or an illusion, one is liberated. Imagination, what is imagined, and imagination's action. Bondage, what is bound, and being bound. These six are reasons for liberation. No stages, no truths, no lands, no emanations. Buddhas, solitary illuminates, and hearers too are contrived. Personality, continuity, the clusters, conditions, atoms. And the Supreme Creator God too is imagined in mere thought. For mind is all, everywhere, operating in all bodies. Mind alone, invisible, is grasped as diverse by the false. For there is no soul in the clusters, and the clusters are not in a soul. They are not as imagined. Yet it's not that they don't exist. If the existences of all things were as imagined by the naïve, they would all be as seen by one who sees the truth. Because of the unreality of all phenomena, there is neither defilement nor purity. They are not as seen, yet not non-existent either. The sign of confusion is conception, a description of the relative. The name assigned to that sign describes the imagined. When conception of name and sign does not occur in relation to it, the absolute character is an allusion to conditions without real abiding substance. The Buddhas resulting from maturation and the victors that are projections, beings, and bodhisattvas. And lands too are everywhere. The victors emanating as results of the teaching, and those that are projections. All issue from the blissful land of infinite light. What is spoken by the projections? And what is said by those born of maturation? No, the extensive teaching of the scriptures is its totality. Whatever has been said by the heirs of the victorious and whatever the guides say, is what has been said by projections, but not victors born of maturation. These phenomena are unoriginated, yet they are not non-existent. They are like castles in the air, dreams, illusions, projections. Thought engages in thought. It is thought that is to be abandoned. It is thought that is born, and none other than thought that passes away. The appearance of objects to humans is thought. Thought expresses what is imagined. There is no object. It is only thought. Without imagination, one is freed. A collection of elaboration without value since time without beginning. False imagination is brought into being. Thus does false appearance occur. As the appearance of objects is consciousness, knowledge is the domain of verity. Detached, without images. That is in the domain of the wise. Meditation investigating things. Is meditation practiced by the unsophisticated? Meditation focused on verity is realized pure meditation. As merely imagined, everything is unborn on its own. Focused on the relative, people's imagination rambles. As the relative is pure when disconnected from imagination, verity is detached, a state apart from conception. Don't construct imagination. An imagination doesn't really exist. Confusion belongs to the one falsely imagining, not to the apprehended and what apprehends. The view of external objects is a construction. Intrinsic existence is entirely imagined. By that construction they construe inherent existence produced from conditions. The view of external objects is fallacious. There is no object, but thought. To those seeing accurately, what grasping grasps disappears. No object is found external as imagined by the naïve. The appearance of objects starts as thought agitated by impressions. By annihilation of constructed substitutes, knowledge is the realm of verity. The sphere of the wise occurs without images, inconceivable. Conception of name and sign characterizes two natures. True knowledge, veritable, characterizes the absolute. The combination of receptacle and intellect from the union of father and mother grows with fertilization. Like a mouse in a jar of ghee. The fetus, an impure eruption of a variety of activity, is brought about like a fruit by the material elements impelled by actions. With 5 fives plus 5, and 9 flaws. Covered with nails, teeth, and hair, one is born, quivering. Like a maggot when newborn. The human being is as if awakened from sleep. Form becomes visible by means of the eye, development proceeds from performance. With a combination of the palate, lips, and oral cavity, conceived by mental construction. Human speech issues like that of a parrot, by false imagination. Hallowed doctrines are dogmatic, the great vehicle is non-dogmatic. It starts from people's inclinations. It is no business of those with false views. My vehicle, which must be known first-hand, is not accessible to thinkers. After the guide is gone, pray tell, who will uphold it? Some time after the blissful one has passed away. There will be, you realize, Mahamadi, one who will have the eye. In Vidali in the south, an eminent renowned mendicant, Nagavaya his name. A destroyer of bias toward being or non-being. Having elucidated my vehicle to the world, the unsurpassed great vehicle. Reaching the stage of joy, he will go to the realm of bliss. Inherent existence is not ascertained in things when observed with intelligence. Whereby they are shown to be inexpressible and devoid of independent being. For in an object originating in conditions, non-existence and existence cannot be found. Those who imagine that a thing within conditions does or does not exist, are far from my teaching, with dogmatic views. The naming of all things through hundreds of lifetimes, continuously, has been accumulated and is being accumulated by repetition, by interactive imagination. Without talking, everyone would be confused. Hence name is created to exclude confusion. Things are imagined by the naïve in terms of 3 kinds of conception. In terms of conception, that is utter error, and what is produced by conditions. Undestroyed, unborn, by nature like space. What have no intrinsic existence of being are imagined characteristics. Illusory appearances like a mirage, as in a dream. Come about like a fire wheel, a castle in the air, an echo. Without duality, veritable, empty, the limit of existence, the nature of reality. And without false imagination, are what I indicate as descriptions of the absolute. Falsehood, truth, and insight in the realm of speech and thought are imagined. Thought falls into dual extremes, so insight is not constructed. The two extremes of existence and non-existence are there to the extent of the domain of thought. By relinquishment of the domain, all thought is stopped. By the non-existence of grasping of sense objects, and not by destruction, is the state of verity found, as the domain of the wise. The perception of the ignorant is not like the perception of the intelligent. As the intelligent perceive, all phenomena have no definition. As an attractive counterfeit is imagined by the naïve to be gold, so are all things to false thinkers not gold that appears to be gold. The origination of what doesn't exist, the existent passing away, and conditional being or non-being. These are not established in my teaching. Being beginningless, endless, without becoming. Thinkers intent upon description of what exists in a world with a cause and creator do not awaken. Past existence is evident, so is the future. The present is evident, so things are not born. Those who imagine an abode of a time of development in the faculties of being of a creature, or the taking on of an intermediate existence, they are not wise. The victors do not describe the world as interdependently arisen. Rather, this world is really a notion, like a castle in the air. It is only a convention for a thing. There it is called this. Being a convention, it is not born and does not perish individually. In a mirror, in water, in the eye, in ornaments, and in jewels, an image may be seen, but there is no image anywhere in them. Thought as a reflection of things is like a mirage in the sky. It appears in various forms, like the child of a barren woman in a dream. For me, the great vehicle is not a journey, a voice, or words, not truths, not liberations, nor a realm beyond sense. But the great vehicle is a means, active mastery of concentration, a mental body of manifold wonder, adorned with the flowers of masteries. Existence and birth are spoken of as one and as distinct, though not in the context of analysis. As the same and not the same. Like, indeed, extinction and non-existence. The emptiness of the unborn is one, and the emptiness in the produced is one. Unborn emptiness is best. Produced emptiness passes away. Verity, emptiness, the limit, like the realm of reality. The mental body of manifold wonder I indicate with figures of speech. Those who imagine purification by the Sutra, Vinaya, and Abhidharma are not relying on selflessness either in terms of text or of meaning. Not by philosophers, not by Buddhas, not by me, not by anyone has existence been established by assumption. How can non-existence be? How is the existence of something to which non-existence is attributed be proven by assumptions? One imagines non-existence and existence by the false views of the doctrine of origin. Whatever has nothing that originates has nothing that passes away. Existence and non-existence do not pertain to it when seeing the world detached. Those who imagine the appearance of a rabbit's horn can be seen, or that what people imagine is there are confused, like animals at a mirage. Imagination starts by immersion in mental construction. For even imagination does not apply to causeless imagination. As a mirage in the sky is apprehension of water where there's no water, an object is seen by the simple, but not in terms of individual essence by the wise. The perception of the wise is pure, coming from the three liberations, free of origination and dissolution, appearing without false images. Knowledge deep, high, and broad, lands, and superhuman power too. I teach the successors of the victorious. To hearers, impermanence. The triple world is impermanent, empty, without self or possession. To hearers I teach such a general description. Having no attachment to anything, being detached, living alone, I teach to solitary illuminates as a reward, free of conjecture. The external is imagined self-existent, and relative to living beings. Not seeing its own confusion, thought goes on from there. The 10th stage can be first, and the first can be 8th. The 9th can be 7th too, and the 7th can be 8th. The 2nd may be 3rd, the 4th can be 5th, the 3rd may be 6th. Where there are no images, how can there be steps? The imageless non-being of things, indeed, does not exist to yogis. The reward of the wise comes from equality of being and non-being. How is the non-existence of existence effected? How about equality? When the mind does not know external and internal agitation, then it makes annihilation of the view of equanimity. Being covered by grasping of things in the beginningless common flow is ceased by the simple like a wedge removed with a wedge. Causing it, supporting it, within the course of the intellect it gives cause to thought and dependent consciousness. There are 4 kinds of superknowledge, obtained by development, from empowerment, by putting the canon into practice, and even in dreaming. What is obtained in dreaming? And what through the mediation of Buddha, and those in the family of canonical procedure, are produced by development of consciousness. Thought produced by impressions operates on the appearance of things. When the naïve do not understand, then one should indicate origin. As long as it imagines something that can be expressed in speech, having a definition, so long does the mind misunderstand, not seeing its own confusion. Why is origin described, and why not the object? To whom, how, and why can perceiving with no object be described? The mind is inherently transparent. Intellect is the cause of turbidity. And the intellect, together with the consciousnesses, constantly casts an impression. The receptacle is disembodied, intellect seeks a course, consciousness gets confused on seeing the appearance of objects. One's own thought is perceived. An external object is not found. One should think of confusion thus, and remember verity. The state of meditators, action, and the greatness of Buddha. These 3 inconceivables are the inconceivable realm of consciousness. The future and the past, nirvana, personality, counsel. I tell of these in conventional term. The ultimate truth, however, is beyond speech. Followers of the Nikayas and philosophers rely on the same view. Unaware it is only thought, they imagine external being. Individual awakening, Buddhahood, sainthood, the vision of Buddha. It is a hidden seed that grows in wakefulness and in sleep. Where, for whom, how, why, and for what purpose, tell me. Is the thought of doctrine partial to being or non-being silenced by me? The doctrine that illusion does not exist or does is only in the thought of the confused. What has origination and dissolution is apart from described and description. Imagination is intellect, indeed, along with the 5 consciousnesses. The seed of thought issues in the beginning like the water of a stream of images.